is the situation of long COVID. And the reason why I decided to speak about that today is because a lot of persons may not be familiar, but post-COVID, I mean, even though COVID is still around, it's not as, as concentrated as it was before. But of course, there are still persons, deaths, whatever the case may be. So we still need to be very cautious, doing our necessary aspects as it relates to, just taking care of ourselves, especially our immune system. But long COVID especially is disturbing because you have a lot of persons who have gotten COVID and subsequent to that, they never really recovered as it relates to their lung health. So they have problems breathing, they suffer from short breath. Some persons have been diagnosed with things like emphysema, bronchitis, pneumonia, asthma, as a result of having COVID. So that's what we're going to discuss today within the space of time that we are able to. What can you do to really improve the condition of your lungs? If you are someone who may have had COVID and you now, as a consequence, have some sort of condition that is causing problems with your breathing, well, this is a program for you. If you're an individual who may have been diagnosed with asthma or any sort of lung-related issue, emphysema, bronchitis, pneumonia, definitely that is something we're going to touch on today. So we know the importance of our lungs. The lungs play a significant role as it relates to simply breathing. I mean, we know we take in oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide. Your lungs is actually an organ of detoxification of the body, and it plays a significant role in its relationship with your cardiovascular system, especially your heart. So if you're having problems with your lungs, you're going to find you will have problems, for example, with short breath. You may have issues in doing any laborious exercises. So if you try to walk or maybe walk quickly or run, you find you get problems breathing, as well as individuals who may have issues where they find that things like pollen, certain types of dust actually affects your breathing. So all those individuals we're speaking about, how could you really improve lung health? Well, the first thing, of course, as we always highlight on Batson and Associates, is the importance of proper hydration. And we know the importance of hydration in the body. I mean, I emphasize it so much because I just think people don't really understand how much of a difference it makes. It makes when you consume the sufficient amount of water that you're supposed to on a daily basis. It makes a significant difference, even as it relates to what we're discussing here with lung health. Now, the thing is, if you have been diagnosed with COPD, which is a specific pulmonary condition, then you have to be careful with the amount of water that you would drink, because persons with that condition find that they actually gather water in the lungs, and as a result of that, that could cause difficulty breathing. So only if that is your diagnosis, so if you have a situation where you feel where you're getting problems with retaining water, then you would need to ask some sort of question or seek further clarification as regards to the amount of water intake. Once that is not, you don't have a health situation which limits the amount of water that you drink, you have no excuse. Your body weight divided by 2 in ounces. So if you weigh 160 pounds, half of 160 is 80, you should drink the equivalent of 80 ounces, which I believe is somewhere in the vicinity of maybe 2 liters, 2.5 liters of water per day. That's one. Now, the thing is, at Batson and Associates, there are a number of different tests and supplemental protocols that we carry out. One we do is for lungs, so improving the health of your lungs, improving one's breathing, that type of thing. And one of the products that we actually use is a product known as silver with mineral formula. Now, the advantage with that is that if you have a respiratory condition, which most of the time has some aspect of pathogen interference, so pathogens, whether bacteria, virus, fungus, hence the discussion as it relates to long COVID, because COVID, of course, being a pathogen, would have actually caused the significant problems. The thing is, there are individuals who could have just gotten the common cold and they end up with severe lung problems subsequent to that. Some people end up with what is known as a post-nasal drip. A post-nasal drip is normally you with a sort of dry cough. So you're just coughing just like that, nothing is coming up, no mucus, nothing like that is coming up, but you're consistently coughing. And the reason for that a lot of times it is referred to as a post-nasal drip, which could in turn affect the lungs. Before I continue, let me just give you some reminders. Our clinic locations, we are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. We also on corner of Ramsmore Place and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe. Our telephone number for Debe is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. And for the Chaguanas office is 222 or 222-8261. Samantha, let me go to you just to remind the listeners, or if you have any questions as regards to what numbers they can text and message.
Yes, and if you do have a question, a medical question that you would like answered live on air by Dr. Jason Batson of Batson and Associates, feel free to give us a call right now. And you can use the hotline numbers 627-3223, 627-3223, or 625-2257, 625-2257. And we do have a caller. Hello and welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Question, I didn't have the pollen, but I get a virus, right?
Right.
I didn't have any flu, but I had the fever. But after I went underneath my jawline, I had some lump, and then behind my neck and stuff, it raised, and it was like some lump, and then after it subsided after 2 weeks. Is that normal? There's no effect? Thanks again.
Okay, no problem. It is normal based on what you described. It seems to me, based on the locality where I mentioned, some lumps or swelling under the neck and to the back of the neck. So most likely that is some aspect of your lymphatic system. The thing is, usually when you get any type of infection, depending on the locality of the infection, so most likely that's something more close to throat, respiratory, you would get some swellings of the lymph nodes under your neck and behind the neck. So that's a regular thing. It would only become a problem if the lymph nodes remain swollen for an excessive or extended period of time. So, for example, if you might have lymph nodes that may be swollen for more than, let's say, more than 3 months, because depending on the severity of the infection and the location or the locality of the infection, you find that the lymph nodes will take a little longer to go down. And the reason why your lymph nodes essentially swell or enlarge is because you have all the white blood cells there being pooled, and the body is actually trying its best to cordon off or block off that infection so that it doesn't go to other parts of the body. So once your lymph nodes have become normal, soft to the touch, you're not getting any pain, you're not feeling like any blockage, any lumps in any part of those areas, then you do have a problem. Again, of course, keep in mind the importance of proper water intake, proper hydration. I would strongly advise no use of cold water at all. People with respiratory problems are not supposed to be doing certain things. One of the things you're not supposed to be doing is drinking cold water. I mean, if you go out once in a while and you're having a little beverage or something, I mean, I don't expect you to have it room temperature if you're drinking maybe a glass of wine or whatever the case may be. But when we're speaking about water, you want room temperature water, and try and incorporate some sort of hot teas in the regime, because cold things actually causes serious problems with your respiratory. I mean, internally it is a problem, but it is especially problematic for persons who have respiratory problems and who have sinusitis issues and that type of thing. So try your best and stay away from those things. Let me just quickly say a pleasant good afternoon to our social media listeners. Keep in mind that we are live on our social media platforms. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. And on YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. Keep in mind, again, our telephone locations and contacts for our St. James Clinic that is located at the Red Edge Mall. That is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That telephone number is 220-8113, 220-8113. And Tobago, of course, is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number is 226-4553. Back to you, Samantha.
Thank you very much, Dr. Batson. And of course, if you do have a question for Dr. Batson that you would like answered live on air, do give us a call at 627-3223, 627-3223, or 625-2257, 625-2257. You can also send that question via WhatsApp to the number 306-1065, 306-1065. And we do have a question via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, Dr. Batson. My friend had 3 miscarriages in 2 years. What can cause this, and can you help, please?
Okay. Well, in the past, we have successfully helped a number of women who have had situations with fertility. And now when I say with fertility, the thing is, a lot of women can have the situation where they become pregnant, but they do not carry to term. Hence, they have a miscarriage. There are a number of reasons. One, you find issues with hormonal imbalance. So if you may have polycystic ovarian syndrome, you may have fibroids, you may have even endometriosis. One of those, or you could have combination, and you could become pregnant, but again, you do not carry to term. So that could be a situation. I have found in my experience for the past 13 years, having dealt with a lot of women who had problems with especially polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, serious hormonal imbalance challenges, that a lot of times some women have structural problems with their womb. Now, let me see how fast I can explain this. The thing is, most of the time, if a female goes and she does an ultrasound, the ultrasound is going to give you certain things. If she does an abdominopelvic ultrasound to look at that particular part of the body, the uterus and surrounding organs and that type of thing. And they're going to give you some aspect of measurement, location, and that type of thing. Most females, their womb tends to be anteverted. Now, some women may have a womb that is retroverted, which means the womb is sort of tilted backwards or backwards. Now, the thing is, most doctors argue that that is not a problem. If you have a retroverted womb, it doesn't interfere with procreation, becoming pregnant, whatever the case may be. I disagree, because I have seen in the past where I've incorporated the use of massage therapists, physiotherapists, even chiropractors with some of the clients that we have worked with. And as a result of that type of physical manipulation, massages, improving circulation to the area, because one of the reasons why a lot of women have infertility problems or problems carrying to term is because they have lack of proper blood circulation and proper oxygenation to the uterus area. And that could be caused by a number of things. I have found that women who have serious problems with constipation and gastrointestinal problems usually have a lot of problems associated with hormonal imbalance, polycystic ovaries, fibroids, ovarian cysts, simply because that particular part of the body, the uterus area, that whole uterine cavity, is not getting proper blood flow, proper blood circulation. And as a result of that, you have what we call stagnation taking place, where as a result of it, think about it like, think about a canal or a drain. If the water is not being allowed to flow consistently, and let's say the drain becomes blocked up, you're going to have problems. You're going to have block up, you're going to get problem with scent, you're going to get issues with mosquitoes, whatever the case may be. And that analogy is simply to help you to understand that in any part of the body where that takes place, where you have a lack of blood flow, once you have a lack of blood flow, you have a lack of oxygen and you have a lack of nutrients to cells in that particular part of the organ. And even, one of the things quickly too, even when women do pap smears, a lot of the time, not to stray from what we're discussing, a female might do a pap smear and the pap smear will come back saying that they see something known as squamous cells or some irregular cells. Let me just give you some advice quickly. Do not run and, say you're going to do biopsy and you're going to cut and you're going to do this to determine if it is cancer. You have to understand, as I said, if you do not have proper blood circulation taking place in any area of the human body, you are going to end up in a situation where that particular part of the body is literally going to start to suffer from what we call stagnation. Lack of proper blood circulation from a cellular level, intracellular fluid in the cell, extracellular fluid outside of the cell. The body is not able to function properly. You can think about it like this. If you ever fall or you get a lash, or you would realize that particular lash will swell. The reason why it swells is because the body is creating inflammatory response to block off or cordon off that particular area so that the body could now heal that particular area. The same thing can apply to areas in the body where you do not get proper blood circulation, proper oxygenation, proper nutrients being delivered to that part of the body. And that is why now we have so many women. I mean, we also have issues with hormonal imbalance as a result of diet and stress and all. Because of that lack of blood flow and oxygenation to the area, that female is going to have a lot of problems. She's going to have painful menstrual cycles. She's going to have a lot of problems with headaches. She's going to have problems with possibly infertility. Sometimes you might realize where they actually do the ultrasound using dye. So they do an internal ultrasound to determine, and then in some cases they would realize that the fallopian tube is blocked or whatever the case may be. So again, that just highlights what I am saying, that you need to get proper circulation, proper oxygenation to that area. One of the things we carry at Batson Associates is a product known as Women's Formula, and there's one that we have called Female Balance. There's also one we have called Uterine Formula, which is basically to improve the circulation in that area, help to balance the hormones. Because when you're dealing with hormonal imbalance, you're dealing with your endocrine system. Your endocrine system are your glands, thyroid, parathyroid, pituitary, and so on. And your glands are what actually produce are chemical messengers, which are hormones, so things like progesterone, estrogen, whatever the case may be. So when females are diagnosed or have painful menstrual cycles, especially, it is an indication that you have some issue as regards to hormonal imbalance, proper circulation in those particular areas. So again, you could feel free to give us a call or visit. Keep in mind, we do have that package where we're doing the different blood analysis as well as the magnetic resonance analysis, which gives us an opportunity to really determine root cause. Where is this issue coming from? Do you have proper bowel movement? Is there some impaction in there? Because very quickly, sometimes women do ultrasounds, and in the ultrasound, the sonographer or the radiographer is actually going to write or put fecal loading, which is an indication of backup feces in the intestines. But because of the close location of the uterus and the colon, they're actually able to see that in the ultrasound. And of course, that is going to contribute to problems later on. Okay, over to you, Samantha.
And if you have a medical question for Dr. Jason Batson, do feel free to give us a call right now. And you can use the hotline numbers 627-3223, 627-3223, or 625-2257, 625-2257. You can also send your medical question by WhatsApp to the number 306-1065, 306-1065. And Batson and Associates, they started its operations in 2009, September of 2009, and it's an organization of trained health consultants and practitioners in Ayurvedic, Chinese, holistic, natural, and nutritional medicine. Dr. Batson.
Yes, definitely. Again, pleasant good afternoon to our Facebook listeners. Ms. Annie Grant says good afternoon, Dr. Batson, to you and your wonderful staff. Keep in mind, as I said, we are also live on Instagram. We are Batson and Associates TT, and we are also live as well on YouTube, Batson and Associates Trinidad. So back to the original discussion. So as it relates to that whole situation with breathing and asthma, and even as I said with COVID, so you need to be very careful, especially sometimes you may have gotten the cold, and these colds now, not like the colds we used to get 20, 25 years ago. These colds, vicious. And the reason for that is because a lot of them have become resistant to antibiotics. Now, and this is something globally in the whole spectrum. The World Health Organization, has placed so much attention and emphasis on the amount of antibiotic-resistant bacteria that we have now. So a lot of times, sometimes you may get the cold and you may go to the doctor, and in wisdom, they may recommend antibiotics. Sometimes you get things like maybe amoxicillin. You may get augmented, depending on the situation. And because of the use of that, or maybe extended use of that, you need to be very careful, because you need to put back. So, a lot of persons now have become aware of using probiotics in general health, and even especially after the use of antibiotics. What I also need persons to understand too is, you could have gotten antibiotics when you had cold. And what happened, the cold did not go completely, didn't leave, or the infection didn't leave the body. Because what you have to understand, pathogens, which are way older than the human race itself, have been around a very, very long time. So they have the ability to change very quickly. There's something we call pleomorphism, where they're actually able to change shape and very quickly in a matter of seconds. So because of that, you could have an infection that is there and could remain dormant. And then when your immune system is low enough, the infection could actually resurface. And that I've seen that happen to a lot of persons. We have dealt with a number of cases, especially as it relates to persons who would have gotten COVID-19. So I'm saying, again, be very careful. If you look at even World Health Organization, New England Journal of Medicine, I think last year's article, one of the things that they were showing is that they have so many persons with serious lung problems after the COVID-19 pandemic, especially children. So, parents, once you're listening, it is vitally important that, you really pay attention to situations with that. Because, that's one of the fastest way that someone could go. When you cannot breathe, you cannot breathe. So, pay very close attention to that. Look at your symptomology. If you're experiencing things like wheezing, short breath, you're having problems. If it is your climb stairs, it is a cause for concern. One of the things that we do to Batson and Associates is something known as a magnetic resonance analysis scan, or what is known as bioresonance. The thing is, resonance is vibrational matching. So everything in the universe has frequency associated with it, or vibration. Every object has some aspect of vibration associated with it. What that machine does is actually send weak magnetic waves throughout the body, and it actually gives you or matches the vibration. All the cells in your body give off a different frequency. So it's almost similar to what they do when they do MRIs, which are magnetic resonance imaging. The point is, it actually picks up frequency and gives you an indication of what is going on in the body. So, for example, as we discussed in lungs here, you'll be able to get an idea of what is going on with your lungs in terms of its capacity. Because most persons, if you have lung issues and if you have long-term infections, you lose capacity of the lungs, hence the reason why you have problems with short breath and that type of thing. So that's something to pay attention to. And of course, you can feel free to give us a call or visit at any of the telephone locations that I have mentioned, or telephone numbers, sorry. Keep in mind, Shogunas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. The Debe office is located on the corner of Ramsonwood Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe. That's 223-7515. You could also, if you add us on social media, you will have access to all this information that you could actually call and get the necessary information that you need as regards to what we are discussing. Back to you again, Samantha.
Thank you so much, Dr. Batson. And again, with a few more minutes left, you call us right now at 627-3223, 627-3223, as well as the 625-2257, 625-2257. You can also send your medical question via WhatsApp to the number 306-1065, 306-1065. And we do have a question that comes via WhatsApp. But this person is asking, how can I build up my blood, Dr. Batson?
Okay, build up your blood. So if you don't know about building your blood, most persons who have situations with low blood count would be suffering from what is known as anemia, or you're anemic. Usually from the home perspective, it's easy, but easy-ish, depending on age and if you have any predisposing conditions, diabetes, hypertension, whatever the case may be. So things like your sweet potato, beetroot, carrots, pumpkin, callaloo. Once you're on any dietary restrictions, once you're not on things like blood thinners and that type of thing, it's always good to ask to make sure. Those are things that you could use. As it relates to supplement-wise, I'm very cautious about iron tablets. I don't really like them simply because iron in nature doesn't come by itself. Iron in any food has some combination of vitamin C, because iron in the absence of vitamin C is going to cause constipation, right? So from your supplemental perspective, we carry a product called Advanced Chlorophyll, which is chlorophyll plus. That's a very good way to build up your blood count. It's also a very good deodorizer, so it helps with things like your liver health, that type of thing. If it's a situation with a female who has issues where they have a hormonal imbalance situation and they're bleeding, they may have very heavy periods, well then that's going to require a different type of discussion, because you have to address that problem as well as you're building up the blood count. Otherwise, you'll always have the issue. Every time you get the period, the blood count is going to go low, right? So that's definitely something for further discussion, some sort of consultation, testing, that type of thing. But as I said, as regards from the home perspective, things like the sweet potato, green figs, your beetroot, those type of things going to help in actually assisting in building the blood count. Okay.
You can give us a call if you have a question for Dr. Jason Batson. The number is 627-3223, 627-3223, or 625-2257, 625-2257. We do have another question that comes via WhatsApp. It says, can you say how to treat ridges on fingernails? Thank you.
Oh, good question. Actually, just this morning I was speaking about that. But the thing is, when you have ridges on your fingernails it usually is a telltale sign of how healthy you are. If you see like white lines, is usually an indication of some sort of calcium deficiency. Whenever you see ridges are pathogens, so either bacteria, virus, fungus, protozoa, or worms. If you have fungus, for example, on your toes as well, that's also a clear indication of some sort of pathogens. Most of the time, fungus, things like candida, in the system. And the thing is, you need pathogens. Yes, we have what is known as probiotics. Of course, healthy bacteria. The problem is, a lot of times people go out of balance and they have too much of the bad and not enough of the good. And that could cause serious problems, which is usually manifested in, like when I was discussing the integumentary system, which is the skin and its appendages. So even persons who have problems with losing their hair, especially women, you find like your hair falling out, men as well. A lot of the times, things like dandruff, if you have LOTA for extended periods of time, it is an indication that the toxins and pathogens in the body are too much, and as a result of that, it has now been manifested itself in the different appendages of the skin. So of course, you're looking at things like Santulan, which is a 7-channel detox that cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. And of course, your water intake is also something that you need to pay very close attention to. So, with that being said, one of the things we do at Batson Associates, as I said, is that live nutritional blood analysis, which I have so much belief in, because I have seen and dealt with so many persons over the years, and a lot of times they come with different types of tests. They may come with a CT scan, they may come with an MRI, they may come with ultrasounds, they may come with Dopplers to determine circulation, if they have clots, whatever the case may be. And, with our blood analysis, you're actually able to see what we call biological terrain. Always keep that in mind. The thing is, disease and sickness could only exist in a body where the environment is conducive to feeding that particular environment. You have to change that environment in order to feel healthier. So if you have problems with headaches, if you are feeling and you always have a painful menstrual cycle, something is wrong. That is not supposed to be happening to you. Some women get really badly off to the point where they can't even go to work. That is it. Tablets, they knock out for days. Something is wrong with you. You have problems with bowel movement. Something is wrong with you. The thing is, a lot of times our body speaks to us. Most of the time, we do not listen. Some people don't know how to listen because it's not a matter of just hearing. Hearing is just acknowledgement of what you heard. Listening is acknowledgement and following through. So, that's something that a lot of us need to really focus on. So let me just give you those telephone numbers again. Keep in mind those locations. First floor Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. That number is 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsamud Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That is 223-7515. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That telephone number is 220-8113. And Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough. That number is 226-4553. As usual, Samantha, it's a pleasure to be in your company. I'd like to thank very much the listeners of Freedom 106.5 FM for allowing me into their household today. And God's willing, hopefully next week, we will have a next interesting discussion. Let me just say, as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. And look out for our new package that we have, our pensioners special, because we have to take the pensioners into consideration, and that is something that we have worked on. So you're going to get some more information with that. Samantha, and thank you so very much for your time, and you do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Batson. And that was our special health segment featuring Dr. Jason Batson of Batson and Associates. Visit them today on the first floor, Money Talks building, 182 Southern Main Road, Montrose. Call 222-8261 or WhatsApp them at 314-9975. Keep listening. We're talking health every Thursday on Freedom 106.5 FM.
Expression is who we are. Take control. Your own new talk radio.
Yes, social media. So as usual, it's always a pleasure to be in your company. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to Miss Maria Cooper, Miss Kathleen Ishmael, my darling. How are you? God bless. I hope you're okay. Blessings to you as well. Miss Eve Mohammed, good afternoon. Watching from Canada. Thank you so much, Eve. Miss Jennifer Valentine, as usual, text us in the house. Miss Valentine, let me just say the CMOS lashing. The CMOS lashing. You know what I mean. Right, Miss Anne-Marie Barb, good afternoon, Dr. Batson and Associates, and everyone on the live. Miss Annie Grant, good afternoon, Dr. Batson and his wonderful staff. Miss Valerie Hippolyte, good afternoon, Dr. Batson, listening from office with Louis Molinet and Gardner, saying howdy and keep up the great work. Thank you so very much. I hope Mr. Louis, I hope I pronounced your name properly, sir. Miss Burnett Reed says, good afternoon, everyone. Miss Lucy Lara. Miss Lara, always listening like some of the rest of you. All a pleasant good afternoon to you. Yes, Mr. Shakil, sir.
What can be used for sciatica?
Sciatica. Sciatica.
You pronounce it right.
Yeah, you pronounce it correct. Sciatica, you need to get yourself some inflammation formula, and you need to get yourself some of our omega with astaxanthin. You need to get some of that.
Questions from YouTube.
Okay, that was a YouTube question. Hey, pleasant good afternoon, YouTube. YouTube, don't worry, just that we're gonna position these screens. Shakil and I have some work to do where we need to get more computers. Yeah, we had to transform the studio, because right now we're dealing with so many different platforms and so many different persons. Right? Miss Ambitosha. Right. She said, good afternoon, Doc, and thanks for all the information provided. You're very welcome, my dear. Okay, so yes, the pensioner special. So we have that up as your chat.
Of course.
So
on both Instagram and it's also on Facebook as well.
Nice. So people, check it out.
Plus this Wednesday comment. Remember open clinic there as well.
Yes.
So take advantage of that because this is your first Wednesday. They have an open clinic. They will try to walk in.
Yes.
While have an appointment as well.
Exactly so. Yes, Shaki, thank you very much for reminding me of that Saturday as well. This Saturday is an open clinic day in Chabonas. Yours truly, together with some of our consultants, will be there. So we working. People need help. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon again to Alan 2120 just joined. Right. So keep in mind we have one more program. Thursday is the day of programs. So that's today's the day. If no other day my brain has to work well, is on a Thursday. It must work good. Right? Miss Melissa Farrington says, good afternoon. I am very thankful to Miss Ramda for reaching out to find out how I was doing and how the products were working. Grateful for the follow-up customer service at its best. Miss Farrington, thank you so very much for that. Yes, we try our best. And we're actually trying to fix that system more and more. I mean, some people sometimes sort of slip through cracks, but we try our best to eliminate that so that we can offer the best service to everyone. So thank you so very much for sharing your experience, Miss Melissa Farrington. Miss Cathy Samu says, good afternoon, Dr. Batson. Good afternoon to you. So our next program that we're going to be joining DJ Mamu in just a little bit. That'll be at 2 p.m. and that is djmamuradio.tt, is it?
Yeah, internet radio.
Internet radio. Yeah. So what we have to do, we have to do a post with all the programs. Yeah, you're gonna have to do that for me, right? And we're gonna get that done. So that is going to be our program from 2 to 3 o'clock. So you guys could listen in on that. Also, some good news too, where we actually have a telephone number for you to book your online consultation and for follow-ups with the consultant. So you heard Ms. Farrington said that we follow up with our clients, even if they're not in the country. Right? You see how we make sure and care about us? Ms. Maria Cooper says, good afternoon, Dr. Batson. My friend blood is low and she is getting a pain in her chest, but doctors don't know what is the problem. Now tell her she needs to come to Batson and Associates. Call and let us see if she can get an appointment. We'll sort that out for her. Ms. Martin says, Dr. Batson, I am ordering the right products for osteoarthritis. The advanced omega, the advanced chlorophyll, and the inflammation formula. Yes, Ms. Hills, you're on point with that there. Okay, guys, so join me back at 2, those of you who can. And as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless you guys always, and take care of yourself, and we will see you in a little bit.